Hey guys, Happy New Year again. Just like my 42 movie review, I reviewed this on New Year's Eve. So I hope everybody had a great New Year's Eve and a great New Year's Day. So for today's movie review, I'm going to talk about the film Now You See Me, a film I saw right after 42. And Now You See Me, you guys, basically it's a magician heist movie. So basically in the movie, there's a group of magicians, they're street magicians that start off that way. They get recruited to be a part of this big magic show. And in the magic show, kind of the big deal, the big trick of the show is these performers promise to the audience that they're going to rob a bank while being in the middle of the show and performing this trick. Basically, they're able to rob this bank, and a detective played by Mark Ruffalo is assigned to a case where he has to figure out how these magicians were able to do it, how they're going to get the money back to this bank where they stole money from, and basically figure out how these people were able to do this while being on stage performing this trick because clearly they weren't at the bank around the time that all this money was stolen. Um, so throughout the movie, basically they get let go at first because they don't have enough evidence that they stole this money, and so basically it's about Mark Ruffalo's character trying to figure out how these characters were able to accomplish this, why they formed this group called the Four Horsemen. That was their magician team name. And Morgan Freeman plays a character in this that kind of gives Mark Ruffalo a lot of hints since he knows a lot about magic. And so basically, it's about Mark Ruffalo tracking down these magicians because he knows for a fact that they did steal all this money for all these shows that they perform, and it's basically he's trying to put them in jail because they rob these banks and they got to have their consequences for it pretty much. And the banks that they robbed from got to have their money back. I really enjoyed Now You See Me, you guys. I thought it was a very good movie. I thought it had a lot of tricks and turns in it. Um, for such a simple premise, it actually was a pretty complex movie, and I think that's one reason why I liked it so much. So for the positives and negatives, you guys, I thought there was a lot of tricks and turns in this movie throughout it. So it definitely keeps you guessing. It definitely keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's one of those movies where you think you're getting it for a while, but then you're like, oh wait, now this happened, so maybe it's not going that direction. So it definitely has a lot of tricks and turns. A very good twist ending to this movie. I thought I had, like I said, very good about the tricks and turns, and kind of like a real magic trick. It's able to trick you like what the name of a magic trick is. I mean, it's able to keep tricking you as you watch the movie, and then by the time the film ends, it finally all comes together and makes sense as to why all this was able to be possible. I also thought this was a very entertaining movie. I was very entertained from the moment the film started to the moment the film ended. I thought it was just very entertaining. Kept me on the edge of my seat. Just a very well written, well performed, well executed movie. I thought. It was very action packed. I thought there was a lot of good CGI effects in this movie. You could definitely tell the CGI they used for this movie was very believable. So I really liked how both the action and the CGI were both very impressive in this. I liked the smart alecky character attitudes that these lead characters had. Even Morgan Freeman and Mark Ruffalo and just the cast in general had a very good smart alecky attitude that they brought to the movie. And I think it almost added to the movie because these character personalities were just so unique to everything that was going on. I thought that was a great cast this movie. We had Ilsa Fisher, we had Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Mark Ruffalo, and Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman, and just a bunch of really well known actors and actresses that were able to be a part of this movie, and it's just an overall great film in general because of it. Like a real magic trick, there's just so many secrets that go unrevealed throughout the movie that like a real magic trick, we know kind of what went down. We have an idea of how maybe these magicians were able to pull all this off, but some secrets don't get revealed, just like a real magic trick. So in the way, the film itself is representing the things that we're watching in the film in a way. And I think that's another reason why I like Now You See Me so much also is because the magic tricks are able to keep up with the messages behind the movie. For the negatives, you guys, I did think there was some plot cheats in this. There's one part near the end where I wouldn't say it is the twist ending, but there's a huge factor that goes into the twist ending that does feel a little bit like a cheat. It's like, oh, this, I don't know. So a few little plot cheats every once in a while. There is some occasional sloppy editing in this movie. It just goes from either the editing was a little too quick or specifically this happens like when the characters are running away from something. It either feels too quick, either or they didn't shoot it right for some of the running scenes, or I don't know. Some of the editing in this film just bothered me just a little bit, simply because I've had some editing, some experience with editing some videos before. Um, there were some small messy moments in this movie. Just either the that small moment didn't fit in what was going on with the storyline, or just there was just, like I said about the sloppy editing, just some moments felt a little bit messy. Not enough to drag down the film to say it was bad, but just you can definitely see that the moments in this movie that feel just a little bit messy. Um, and one decision I think they could have done before taking on this movie is, did they want to do real magic, or do they want to do more of a fantasy like magic? Because throughout the movie, I didn't know if they were going for like what happened in The Prestige by Christopher Nolan, where it's real magic, but the twist ending is kind of borderline fantasy magic, or was this fantasy magic, um, and we just taken it as a fantasy movie? Because there's a lot of times in the movie where it's like, okay, that's more along the line of real magic, kind of like The Prestige, but that moment's more like fantasy magic, kind of like The Illusionist, where we're really not supposed to feel this grounded in reality kind of story, because it's a fantasy. It's not trying to be something that real magicians use in real life. So I think as far as how they executed the movie, I think if they decided if this was going to be real magic or fantasy magic, not both at the same time, I think the film would have felt much more smoother. Because like I was saying before, I mean, either they when you're taking on a movie about magic, you have to take on one or the other. And if you take on both, it's going to get a little confusing, because you don't know if it's a grounded in reality type magic, or if it's something we see like in Harry Potter or Chronicles of Narnia. And if the film just decided which form of magic it wanted to use, I think the film would have been a much more smoother piece in general. Um, But overall, guys, I do give Now You See Me at 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a very good movie. I think it's a very entertaining movie. I think it definitely knows what kind of messages and themes the film wants to have throughout its entire running time, so I really like it for that. But like I said, the occasional sloppy editing, the occasional sloppy moments, the little cheats every once in a while, and the decision of trying to take on both real magic and fantasy magic together just didn't feel right. I think if they just chose one or the other, I think this would have been a much better experience. But I think it's a really well done movie. If you like movies about magic tricks, and if you like heist movies in general, I think you'll really enjoy Now You See Me, because I thought it was a very fun movie, and I think several of you will really enjoy it as well if you like magic trick movies, or fantasies, or heist movies. So Now You See Me, you guys, like I said, 8.5 out of 10, and I hope to see you here for the next video.